There is a very common belief after age 50, the idea that to stay strong, healthy, and pain-free, you need to spend hours at the gym, do dozens of different exercises, and follow complicated routines. This belief is not only wrong, it's often exactly what keeps people from exercising. The truth is much simpler and much more effective. There are only 3 exercises that truly matter to maintain strength, mobility, balance, and quality of life after 50. When someone believes they need to do it all, the result is usually confusion, mental fatigue, and giving up. Cardio, strength training, stretching, mobility, balance, all at once feels overwhelming. But the biggest mistake isn't in the exercise itself, it's in the expectations. The person starts to accept morning stiffness as normal. They begin avoiding stairs, thinking it's being cautious. They start telling themselves that pain, limitations, and loss of strength come with age. Every time you lower your expectations, the body adapts to that new standard. Every time you accept a limitation as final, the body learns to live within it. Aging doesn't happen only in the body, it happens in the silent decisions you make every day. And the good news is that this process can be reversed. You don't have to accept living with less strength, less mobility, and more pain. 3 simple movements, done correctly and consistently, can give back much more than most people imagine. They work all the major muscle groups, protect the joints, strengthen bones, and train the body to move safely in the real world. The most important thing to understand is that these exercises don't require a gym, machines, or fancy equipment. They can be done at home, even by those who have never trained before. And when well structured, they take about 15 minutes a day. The impact, however, is profound. Strength, balance, and mobility start to improve in an integrated way. These 3 movements weren't chosen at random. They are backed by clear scientific principles and directly address the biggest challenges faced after age 50: loss of functional strength, risk of falls, back pain, poor posture, and difficulty performing everyday tasks. Each one serves a specific and essential purpose. The first exercise builds strength in the lower body and helps prevent falls. The second maintains upper body strength, improves posture, and protects the spine. The third strengthens the body's center, ensuring stability and safety in all movements. Together, they create a solid foundation for decades of independence. The key point is understanding that the human body responds best to well-applied simplicity. It's not about doing a lot. It's about doing what truly works. Consistency beats any complex plan that isn't sustainable. The first exercise in this trio is perhaps the most functional of all. It's part of your daily life, even if you don't realize it. Every time you sit down and stand up, you're performing this movement. The problem is that, over the years, many people lose the strength and mobility needed to do it correctly. And that's when simple tasks start to become difficult. This exercise is the squat. Not the gym squat with heavy weights, but the fundamental movement of sitting down and standing up using your own body. It is the foundation of functional strength. Getting out of bed, stepping out of the car, picking something up from the floor, sitting on the couch, all of that depends on this movement pattern. The squat is non-negotiable after age 50 because it strengthens the quadriceps, glutes, and core at the same time. It improves balance, reduces the risk of falls, maintains independence in daily activities, and even contributes to increased bone density in the legs and hips. The ideal starting point for most people is the chair squat. Sit on a sturdy chair, place your feet hip-width apart, lean your torso slightly forward, and stand up without using your hands. Then sit back down with control. This simple movement already sends a powerful signal to the body. The initial recommendation is to perform about 10 repetitions, 2 to 3 times a day. This creates frequency without exhaustion. After a few weeks of consistent practice, the body begins to respond. When a person can do 15 repetitions in a row with ease, without getting out of breath and without using their hands for support, it's a sign they're ready to progress. The natural progression is the bodyweight squat, without the chair. The feet are shoulder-width apart, and the movement mimics sitting in an invisible chair, keeping the chest lifted and the knees aligned with the feet. Lower as far as is comfortable and return by pressing through the heels. Progression doesn't happen through rushing, but through mastery of the movement. When it's possible to perform 12 to 15 reps with good form and still feel like there's strength left over, the body is ready for the next level. This usually happens after 4 to 6 weeks. The more advanced version includes added resistance, such as holding a light weight close to the chest. It doesn't need to be a dumbbell, a water bottle is enough. The focus is never on the weight, but on control. Proper progression builds strength without causing pain. The core principle here is simple: start where you are, not where you think you should be. The body respects the honesty of the process. Strength built with patience lasts longer and protects better. After building a foundation of lower body strength with the squat, it's impossible to talk about independence after age 50 without addressing the role of the upper body. Many people underestimate this part of the body until they face real difficulties in simple tasks: pushing a heavy door, bracing to get up from the floor, carrying groceries, or even instinctively protecting themselves during a fall. This is exactly where the second fundamental exercise comes in, the push-up. Just hearing the word push-up often triggers immediate resistance. Many people associate this movement with youth, school PE class, or something they can't do anymore. But this view is mistaken. The push-up is not a performance test, it's an essential movement pattern. It teaches the body to push, stabilize, and protect the spine all at once. From a functional standpoint, the push-up works the chest, shoulders, triceps, and core in an integrated way. This means multiple muscles are activated at the same time, just like in real life. Additionally, it strengthens the muscles responsible for keeping an upright posture, helping prevent shoulder rounding and forward head posture, both common changes after age 50. Another crucial point is that the push-up is completely adaptable. There isn't just one correct version, there's the version that's right for your current level. That's the secret that makes this exercise so powerful and so safe when properly guided. The progression starts in the simplest way, the wall push-up. In this version, the person stands at a comfortable distance from the wall, with hands placed at shoulder height. The movement consists of bending the elbows to bring the body toward the wall, then pushing back to the starting position. The load here is minimal, but the movement pattern is preserved. This initial phase plays a fundamental role, teaching the body to coordinate arms, torso, and core without overload. Many people underestimate this stage, but it's essential for building safety and confidence. 2 to 3 weeks of daily practice is usually enough for the movement to feel natural. The sign of progression is simple and clear. When a person can perform 15 to 20 repetitions without excessive arm fatigue and without losing trunk control, the body is ready for a greater challenge. That challenge comes in the form of the incline push-up. In the incline push-up, the hands are placed on a lower surface, such as a sturdy table, bench, or even the back of a couch. The higher the surface, the easier the exercise; the lower the surface, the more challenging it becomes. The body stays aligned, forming a straight line from head to feet, and the arms perform the bending and extending motion. This variation gradually increases the load on the muscles while still maintaining a high level of safety. Progression happens naturally as the body adapts. Over several weeks, a person can lower the height of the support surface, going from a table to a chair, then to a lower bench. When the incline push-up on a surface around knee height becomes comfortable, the next step is the push-up on the floor with knees supported. This version already represents a significant progression. The body should remain aligned from knees to head, without letting the hips sag or rise too high. Control is more important here than the number of repetitions. For many people over 50, mastering the knee-supported push-up already brings enormous benefits. There is no obligation to progress to a full push-up on the feet. The goal is not to impress anyone, but to maintain functional strength for real life. There's a very important point that deserves emphasis: form always beats quantity. 5 well-executed push-ups build more strength, protect joints better, and carry less risk than 20 poorly performed ones. The quality of movement is what determines the results. In addition to arm and upper body strength, the push-up plays a vital role in protecting the spine. By requiring constant core activation, it teaches the body to maintain trunk stability during effort. This reduces the risk of lower back pain and makes other daily movements safer. Another often overlooked benefit is the psychological impact. As a person realizes they can perform a movement that once seemed impossible, something shifts internally. The feeling of helplessness begins to give way to confidence. This mindset change has a direct effect on how a person moves, walks, and faces daily physical challenges. After age 50, core strength becomes even more important, not for appearance, but for safety. A strong core protects the spine, improves balance, reduces the risk of lower back pain, and makes every other movement more efficient. Walking, climbing stairs, carrying objects, getting up from the floor, all of it depends on the core's ability to keep the torso stable. The exercise chosen to fulfill this role is the plank. At first glance, it may seem too simple or even intimidating, depending on a person's experience. But just like the push-up, the plank is highly adaptable. There isn't one single correct version, there's the version that suits your current stage. The plank doesn't just work the abdominal muscles. It deeply activates the muscles that stabilize the spine, including the transverse abdominis, multifidus, glutes, and even shoulder muscles. This integrated activation creates a full-body protective effect. That's why the plank is so effective in preventing back pain and improving posture. Another key aspect of the plank is its impact on balance. When the core is strong, the body responds better to position changes. Small stumbles are corrected more quickly. Posture remains steadier. The sensation of instability decreases. All of this happens because the body's center provides a stronger base. Plank progression follows the same principles of safety and gradual increase as the other exercises. The ideal starting point for most people over 50 is the wall plank. In this version, the person stands at a comfortable distance from the wall, with forearms resting against it. The body forms a slight incline, and the goal is to hold that position for a short period. In the beginning, holding the position for 10 to 15 seconds is enough. The focus is not on time, but on posture quality. The spine should stay neutral, not arching or sagging. Breathing should be calm and continuous. When a person can hold this position for about 45 seconds without excessive shaking or loss of alignment, it's a sign the body is ready to progress. The next step is the incline plank on a lower surface, such as a bench or a firm couch. The challenge increases as a greater portion of body weight is supported by the core. Posture remains the most important factor. Keeping a straight line from head to heels is essential. Over time, this version also becomes comfortable. The next step is the floor plank with knees supported. For many people, this is when they discover muscles that were practically asleep. This version demands deep core activation but still offers safety as long as it's performed correctly. Holding a knee-supported plank for 30 to 45 seconds with good form already puts a person above average even when compared to younger individuals. This shows how core strength is more related to consistency than to age. There's also the full plank supported on the feet and forearms. It can be attempted by those who feel confident, but it's not required. For the vast majority of people over 50, mastering the knee-supported plank already delivers all the necessary benefits for daily life. The goal is not to compete, it's to protect the body. A common mistake with the plank is prioritizing time over form. Holding a position longer than the body can manage with control doesn't bring extra benefits and can even increase the risk of discomfort. It's always better to hold for 15 seconds with perfect form than for a full minute in a misaligned posture. Another important point is breathing. Holding your breath during the plank increases tension and reduces the effectiveness of the exercise. Breathing slowly and mindfully helps maintain control and improves core activation. When we look at the three exercises together, the squat, the push-up, and the plank, it's clear they cover all the body's essential needs after age 50. Strength, stability, joint protection, and coordination all work together. There's no excess, no wasted energy. After understanding the importance of each of the three exercises, the squat for the lower body, the push-up for the upper body, and the plank for the body's center, the most practical question arises: how do you turn this knowledge into a routine that actually works day to day? The answer is simpler than most people think. The secret isn't doing more, it's organizing better. One of the biggest mistakes after age 50 is trying to copy routines designed for younger people with high volume and little room for recovery. This type of approach usually leads to pain, frustration, and giving up. At this stage, the body responds best to clear, consistent, and well-distributed stimuli throughout the week. That's exactly what this 3-exercise structure allows. The idea is to divide the week into stimulus days and active recovery days. There's no need to train intensely every day. On the contrary, recovery is part of the strengthening process. A simple and efficient model is to train strength 3 days a week and use the other days to keep the body moving in a light way. For example, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday can be the strength training days. On those days, the routine starts with squats. 2 sets of 8 to 12 reps are enough, using the variation that fits your current level. It could be chair squats, bodyweight squats, or a version with light resistance. What matters isn't the variation itself, but controlled and safe execution. After the squat, the next exercise is the push-up. Again, 2 sets are enough. The number of reps can vary between 5 and 10, depending on the version you choose: wall push-up, incline push-up, knee push-up, or full push-up for those who have already mastered it. Each person should work at a level that allows good form, with no pain or loss of control. The third exercise of the day is the plank. 2 sets, holding the position for 15 to 30 seconds each, already provide an effective stimulus. The version should be the one that allows you to maintain perfect body alignment: wall plank, incline plank, knee plank, or the full plank for those who are ready. Another key point in this structure is knowing when and how to progress. Progression should not be rushed. The body gives clear signs when it's ready to move forward. In the squat, it happens when reps feel easy and the movement stays stable. In the push-up, when the current version no longer causes significant fatigue. In the plank, when the time can be held without shaking or losing alignment. It's important to highlight that there's no fixed timeline for progression. Some people advance in a few weeks, others take months. Both are correct. The goal isn't to reach the most advanced level, it's to keep challenging the body appropriately over time. Another common mistake is ignoring the body's small signals. Joint pain, persistent discomfort, or a sense of instability are signs that something needs to be adjusted. Reducing reps, choosing an easier variation, or shortening plank time doesn't mean going backward, it means respecting the body. Breathing during exercises also deserves attention. Holding your breath increases tension and disrupts execution. Breathing continuously and in a controlled manner helps maintain stability and reduces the risk of discomfort, especially during the plank and push-up. One often overlooked aspect is the environment. A safe space with stable flooring and no obstacles sends a sense of safety to the nervous system. This improves movement quality. When the body feels safe, it moves better. What used to seem effective through high volume now causes pain, stiffness, and unnecessary fatigue. That's exactly why the idea of just 3 exercises isn't a naive simplification, it's a smart strategy based on how the body truly functions at this stage of life. The most common mistake is believing that pain and limitations are an inevitable part of aging. In clinical practice, what's often seen is that most of this pain comes from weakened movement patterns, poorly protected joints, and neglected stabilizing muscles. When these 3 pillars are worked on consistently, the body starts moving more efficiently, reducing unnecessary joint strain. The squat, for example, doesn't just strengthen muscles. It teaches the body to properly distribute load between the hips, knees, and ankles. This reduces localized stress and protects structures that tend to wear down over the years. When the sit-and-stand movement is well executed, the body begins to replicate this correct pattern in all day-to-day situations. Acquiesce a tragiceo completa do trecho que vos envio, com cuidado para manter o tom claro, técnico e accessible, tanto em português quanto em inglês. The same principle applies to the push-up. It's not just about strengthening the arms, it retrains posture, activates the core, and teaches the body to push in a coordinated way. Many shoulder and lower back pains are linked to upper body weakness combined with an inactive core. When this is corrected, the body becomes more stable and less prone to discomfort. The plank, in turn, acts as true insurance for the spine. It strengthens the deep muscles responsible for maintaining spinal stability in any position. When these muscles are active, the spine is less affected by sudden movements, unexpected twists, and prolonged postures. Another key aspect is the impact these exercises have on bone density. Bones need mechanical stimulus to stay strong. This doesn't have to come from high-impact activity, it's about well-distributed load. The squat provides this to the hips and femurs. The push-up delivers controlled load to the arms and shoulders. The plank creates stabilizing compression along the spine. Together, they safely stimulate the skeletal system. It's important to understand that bones respond slowly. That's why consistency is more important than intensity. Small, repeated stimuli over months and years lead to lasting effects. There's no shortcut, but there's also no need for suffering. Pain reduction is another frequently observed benefit. When the body becomes stronger and more stable, it absorbs movement forces more efficiently. Less impact reaches the joints. Less tension builds up in the lower back. Fewer compensations are made during simple tasks. This results in less pain upon waking, less discomfort while moving, and greater confidence in the body. There's also an important psychological factor. When someone realizes they can move without pain, they naturally start moving more. This increase in activity creates a positive cycle. Movement builds confidence, and confidence encourages more movement. This cycle is one of the greatest allies of health after age 50. That doesn't mean other activities are off limits. Walking, stretching, or doing light sports can all be added based on each person's interest and capacity. The difference is that these three exercises form the foundation. They ensure the body is prepared for any other activity. Another frequently observed benefit is improved balance. This happens not only due to muscle strength, but because of the neuromuscular integration promoted by these exercises. The body learns to react better to unexpected changes, reducing the risk of falls. It's important to emphasize that the goal is not to reach the most advanced versions of each exercise. The goal is to keep the body challenged at the right level. For some people, that means doing chair squats, wall push-ups, and inclined planks for many years, and that's perfectly valid. The real benefit lies in consistency, not endless progression. Over time, the body begins to show clear signs of improvement. Tasks that once required planning become automatic. You stand up more easily, walk more steadily, and feel less hesitant to move. These are real, meaningful gains that directly impact quality of life.